I'm Jack Bainton and together we're going to learn something today. We are behind on our episode due to the coronavirus lockdown. We hope you're all well. We hope this video helps with the boredom of social distances. It's been a funny winter so far in North Wales. Earlier on in the year, we went for a lovely walk along Banda Pier. The weather was lovely, a little bit windy but not too bad. And then came Storm Kiara and Storm Dennis. Aeolus was up against the harbour wall in Carnarvon. We had real trouble stopping her smashing herself to pieces.
Morning.
Some of the posts on the wall got broken. The huge piece of wood got stuck down between our boat and the wall and threatened to put a hole in the hull. The repairs that needed to be done to the rigging. And the wind kept Mum and Dad awake at night. But because I'm completely deaf, when I take my ears off, I slept fine. After the storm, things seemed a lot more peaceful. But the wind and the rain carried on.
Yeah.
And there were lots of jobs
to
do fixing things that got damaged in the storm. We managed to get these amazing new fenders from eBay.
It's really calm compared to this.
Oh yeah.
Water to die into places we never thought it could.
Yeah, I'm happy.
So there was a lot of work and clearing up to do. And lots of tea to drink. We made an infill for the forepeak. So, Mum, what are you doing?
Trying to make the bed into a double bed.
Oh, okay.
Because it's really uncomfortable at the moment, and it's one of those things that we've decided to do when it's bedtime.
Okay, so
With
why are you trying to cut the foam?
because I need to try and fit it in this bit, and we've just got a bit of spare foam, so I'm cutting it with these.
Did Dad put that in?
Yeah, Dad
Okay.
built a bit here.
So we drilled that piece of wood in. Look,
It's not drilled in; it comes out.
I know. Well,
They're up there, Jack. Do you want to know why they're up there?
why?
Because there's a leak, and we don't know where it's coming from.
Probably coming from the rain.
Explain the technique of using.
Up here, we've put glue roll,
Yeah.
because there's a leak, but we're not quite sure where the leak is. So the blue roll is there because when it gets wet, it will leave a mark on there, and then we know which bit we need to silicone up.
Ah,
The windows in the spring.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, obviously, so we can stop them dripping until we replace them in the spring.
Okay. What are you doing?
I am wiring up this panel, which has got a USB charging unit, a cigarette lighter thingy, a switch, and a battery voltage monitor to put in here so that we can
Charge your
our
batteries and phones.
and keep an eye on the battery voltage. And I could really do with my glasses. Are my glasses on the shelf in there? I can manage.
So this is Mum,
He's alright when he's walking around in
and
depth camp.
she's cutting some foam.
Cutting?
Cutting some foam.
Not cutting.
Cutting! There's Dad. Oh.
Do you know how long it took me to get that duvet on? Yeah. And you've just messed it all up.
Sorry.
Right, start again. Tell us about it.
Man overboard drill, falling up over the side and becoming separate from the boat is serious danger. It can be prevented by moving carefully around the deck, holding on at all times, and clipping on with a harness on deck or in bad weather. But if the worst happens, you must know what to do. Okay, practicing the drill. The skipper should make sure the crew practice man overboard. Did you know they don't actually use a man or any person?
No, I know. They use a
They use
fender
a
tied.
bucket. Well,
Yeah, or a fender tied on.
What are they using in the book?
A simple method is to choose an unexpected moment to throw a fender tied to a bucket over the side while the yacht is sailing or motoring. So they get a bucket and a fender tied together and they throw it overboard.
And then what do you do?
So, okay. So there's a thing called heave to. So if someone falls overboard, they sail away, but that way. So the man here, the boat was here, but then turns round, and then turns back, and then back over there like that. So that's the man, that's the boat.
Okay, and then what?
And then, okay, and the boat makes rough water, calm water on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's the theory. In practice, it doesn't happen like that.
So they try to get the person up, and that's really hard.
Do you know,
Very, very hard.
do you know what's really important?
What?
Is somebody needs to keep pointing at the person overboard.
Yeah. What about if they lose sight of them? Parents' emergency kit, never caught short.
And that's what happens when you bring Scrabble and don't check that there's no pieces in the Scrabble box. No?
Crayons, playing cards, mini sewing kit and safety pins, a mini notepad, it's like a wet wipe,
One single wet wipe.
In case you puke Weetabix all over yourself. You've done that before.
have I?
Yeah.
When?
On a trip to Great Ormond Street in the car.
The blue roll just ended up showing that the whole window was leaking.
We were in Juarez for my sweet 19-year-old cousin Marisol's third wedding. It was so beautiful. Thank God that they
Otherwise
finished
it's
that
going to be like the
tunnel in time
Chinese
for her
water
father to
torture.
AJ, stop with the phone. You're missing everything. Hang on, I'm trying to look up.
Son of a bitch, that's good.
Hola, Jay.
Trouble is, when it fills up, is it just going to fill up to the point where it pulls the gaffer tape off and then falls on my head?
So Mum and Dad replaced all the windows and made brand new ones.
Go on.
These, and I'll leave you the nuts. Don't worry about washers. It's just a temporary thing.
Okay.
They are from 6mm thick tinted Letson. Dad and Mum took the old windows out and used them as templates. So the new windows don't have any frames and are completely waterproof and strong. The new windows also look great. And Dad made new washboards with a dolphin window. And here what Aeolus looked like before and after. As you probably know, we are always on the hunt for a blue water boat to take us around the world. One evening, Mum found an amazing boat online, so Mum and Dad had a long road trip to Scotland.
So you're going to have to forgive me doing this piece to camera. We don't normally do bits direct to camera like this, but there's a bit of a story to tell today. We're in Scotland currently, travelling back down from Aberdeen, and this is the story. We currently, as you know, have a 24-foot Snapdragon sailing yacht called Aeolus, and our plans are to get a bigger boat and make our way down to the Med and go full-time cruising. So we're always on the lookout, as you've seen probably in our other videos, for bigger, more suitable blue water cruising yachts. And Melissa found the other day on Gumtree an Elizabethan 31 centre cockpit, aft cabin ketch, full keel hung rudder, nice diesel engine, lots of equipment, and the advert was a little bit confusing because it was clearly written by somebody who didn't speak great English. He spoke okay English, but there was a few errors and it was just a little bit difficult to tell what was going on from the advert. But anyway, it just seemed like an amazing opportunity. It seemed like there was a problem with the steering, and there was possibly some watering has come in from somewhere. But the degree, the amount of water, not really sure, and the problems with the steering, don't really know. But it's a keel-hung rudder. I mean, how much can go wrong with a keel-hung rudder? It's not like a spade rudder where you can clout it on something. And, you know, how often does a rudder drop off a boat? Anyway, we contact the guy, and he seems very genuine, and we have a fantastic friend. Heads up, Fernando. Thank you very much. You spoke to the guy and said,
Thank you for your interpretation.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very, very good. So Fernando, our friend who speaks Spanish, spoke to this guy and said, look, he seems really genuine, a really nice fella, and he seems very trustworthy, which he is. And off we go to Scotland, to Aberdeen from Pwllheli. So we drove all the way through the night. We get to Aberdeen at 8 AM. We message the guy and we meet him at Aberdeen at 9:30, and he says, okay, so he says, I don't know exactly where the boat is, because when they came to get us off the boat, they brought us back into shore on one boat, and then they were towing this sailing yacht in behind us. and I couldn't wait. I had to an important thing to do, whatever it was, and I couldn't wait for them to bring my boat back into the harbour. But it's here. They said he was following me in, and I said, okay, so tell me what actually happened. And he says, well, we were on a port tack, quite a high angle of heel. The weather was beginning to pick up, and I noticed there was some water in the bilge. And then he said, I noticed I'd lost the steering, and I was scrambling around, and I checked all of the steering components from the wheel back to the pintle, and everything seemed to be fine. Everything was working, but there was no steerage.
And this was in February.
Yeah, this was February in the North Sea, which is not a friendly place. So I can understand he kind of. So he put out a mayday, and they came out and they took him off the boat. And to the best of his knowledge, they were towing this boat back in fine. So, but he said, we're going to have to go to the Port Authority office to find out the boat. And he says, you can have the boat for free. You can have this boat for free. But it's got a problem with the steering, and it's got a problem with some water in the bilge. And I'm pretty handy with stuff like that. And I was thinking, well, look, if it's just the woodwork key on the rudder post, or if it's one of the cables has come off a wheel or something, I'm pretty sure I can sort this. And as for pumping the water out the bilge, not a problem. Anyway, so we go to the I'm rambling. We go to the harbour office, and and this boat's called Buffy.
It's a long story.
Which is a bit of a sign, because I do like Buffy.
Apparently not that long.
It's kind of meant to be. So we go into the harbour office, and the woman on reception says, no, there's no boat here of that name. There's no boat in the harbour of name Buffy. And there's no sailing boat in the harbour. Okay. So she rings Monroe's authority, which would have been the pilot boat and the lifeboat that went out to do this rescue. And I could hear them on the other end. And the guy said, yeah, that boat sunk.
So we rescued 2 people off it.
We rescued 2 people off it.
And it sunk.
We rescued 2 people off it, and it sunk.
And then we were like, this is the guy that you rescued off it.
Yeah, this guy here. And so anyway, so she gives us the number for this Monroe's office. So we go out, sit back in his minibus, and I ring Monroe's office, and they passed me on to the pilot boat that went out. And he said, yes. He said, we rescued 2 persons and we transferred them back to Aberdeen, no problem. And then we attempted to get a rope onto this boat to pull it back in, but because the weather conditions were so bad, we were unsuccessful in that attempt, and it would have caused risk to life, and the persons that were on board were fine. So we unfortunately abandoned our attempts to rescue the boat, and we had a report from the rescue helicopter that it was last sighted 25 miles offshore, off the coast of Fraserburgh, in the middle of the North Sea, well, 25 miles off Fraserburgh, heading towards Norway.
The Shetland Islands.
Or the Shetland Islands, going that direction anyway.
Still afloat?
Still afloat, but low in the water.
So if you see a boat out there called Buffy, she's ours.
Yeah, well, she's not ours.
No, she's
not ours. She's definitely not ours if she's caused any damage to anybody else's boat. She's definitely not ours if she's run aground somewhere that's going to be expensive to recover. But if she's drifted into your harbour and has lined herself up on a pontoon, then she's ours. Then we'll come and fetch her, and I'll repair the rudder. Well, it sounds like I need to make a new one. Sounds to me like the rudder is broken off and the boat has sunk or taken on water.
Of the sea now.
Yeah, I think so. What a shame. I felt so bad for Sancho. What a lovely guy. He was visibly upset. He was so apologetic. He paid us some money for our wasted journey in the diesel, and kudos to the guy. The only thing I guess he could have done was maybe he could have rung the port to say, listen, I've got somebody coming up for this boat.
Okay?
Is my boat okay? Is it moored up? What berth is it on? Because I need to show this prospective new owner the boat. And then they would have said, no, it's not here, it's in the middle of the North Sea. And he could maybe have saved us a journey. But We all make silly mistakes. And the lesson that I take from this is, you know what? You can sit on your backside at home all day, every day, and you can be damn sure if you do that, nothing happens in your life. And when you take a risk on something like this, sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes you have to drive 700 miles to Aberdeen and 700 miles back home in the snow for a boat that doesn't happen. And you know what? We'll do this again tomorrow if we have to, because one of these times it pays off. And whatever you, even when it doesn't pay off, what you've got out of it is more experience, more knowledge, and a great story. And that's good enough for me.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe and click the thumbs up. Remember to hit the notification bell so you get to know about all our future episodes. Please also leave your feedback on our Facebook page. Next time on Sailing Melody.
Coast Guard